Hello everyone, welcome to Karma Education. This channel has a target to cover the whole syllabus of UGC NET Education Paper 2 only. We have started with Unit 2 and it is now completed with topic-wise explanation. Now we have started again Unit 1, that is Educational Studies, Subunit A. Among all the topic of Subunit A, Sankhya, Yoga, Vedanta and Buddhism we have completed. Now in this video I will discuss Jainism. The word Jainism came from the word Jnana. Jnana means conquered. Who conquered anger, attachment, pride, greed like inner enemies. It is applied to the liberated soul who obtain emancipation. Right. In Jainism, there is no place of God. Means they do not believe in God. They admire to their 24 Tirthankaras. Now, who are the Tirthankara? Sanskrit word Tirthankara means ford maker or spiritual teacher, who has conquered the cycle of birth and death by understanding true nature of soul and also shows the path to others. They attain Kevala Jnana, means supreme wisdom. Then only they are known as Tirthankara, and they make the bridge between Samsara to Mahavira. Mahavira means liberation, and in Jainism, Samsara indicates the process of rebirth and reincarnations in various realms of existence. In Samsara, soul remains within a bondage. Moksha is the only way to be free from Samsara. In Jainism, time is divided into two halves. One is Utsarpini or ascending time cycle. There have been infinite number of Tirthankaras in Utsarpini time period. And another one is Avsharpini, descending time cycle. It represents the current cycle. And in this time cycle, 24 Tirthankaras were there. Rishabhnath was the first Tirthankara present time cycle, and Parshnath was the 23rd, and Vardhaman Mahavira was 24th Tirthankara. Jain philosophy is identified as oldest religion of the world, and it teaches about non-violence towards all living beings and gives importance towards spiritual independence. Sources of knowledge. In the field of knowledge, Jain philosophy is pluralistic, as they believe that the reality is not only multiple but also manifold. But why? Because reality has multiple aspects which through language cannot be expressed. That's why Jain philosophy is pluralistic in nature. It advocates realistic pluralism, as they accept the existence of living and non-living thing, and they all have various characteristics, and they accept soul also. In Buddhism, soul is not accepted, but in Jainism, soul is accepted. Consciousness is the essence of the soul. According to Jain texts, knowledge is of 5 types. Mati Jnana, sensory knowledge; Sruta Jnana, scriptural knowledge; Avadhi Jnana, sixth sense; Mana Pada Jnana, telepathy; and Keval Jnana means supreme knowledge. And most important thing that they accept 3 sources of getting knowledge. Only 3 sources of getting knowledge: perception, inference and testimony. Now the most important subtopic of Jainism, that is 5 vows or promises of Jainism. To attain liberation from samsara, they believes in 5 promises. These are, first of all, non-violence or ahimsa. According to Jainism, all souls are equal. As they think like this, that all souls are equal, then to speak, to think, to permit, or to encourage to take others' life is not allowed in Jainism. Non-violence depicts three essential ethics like non-hurting, non-harming, and non-hating. Right. Next is truthfulness, means satya. It is their fundamental principle. It states to choose right between right and wrong, to choose eternal between temporary and permanent. And the third promise is non-stealing, achaurya. Generally, it is considered as not to steal others' goods, but spiritually, it means not to consider body, mind, and intellect as our own. Our body, mind, and intellect is not our own, right? As these are just instruments of human life which help us to know true self. Self is pure consciousness. Okay. Fourth promise is celibacy or brahmacharya. The word can be divided like Brahma means soul and Charya means to stay in Brahma or soul. Withdrawing the perception of body, mind, intellect as self is the state of celibacy. It is only possible if a person chooses right over wrong, permanent self over temporary body, mind, intellect, then naturally he starts searching of true self. It means this promise is dependent on the first three promises like non-violence, truthfulness, and non-stealing. Okay. Next is the fifth promise is non-possessiveness, aparigraha. One who awakes in self or who identify himself or his true self and realize that body, mind, and intellect has not being his own. This state is known as non-attachment to possession or aparigraha. The non-possessiveness can be of non-possessiveness of things, non-possessiveness of people, and non-possessiveness of thought. Right. So these are the 5 promises of Jainism. Now 3 gems of Jainism, path of liberation for Jaina. According to Jainism, liberation is obtained through 3 jewels or 3 gems. These are right faith, Samyak Darshan, means beliefs in Tirthankaras. Then right knowledge, Samyak Jnana. It indicates knowledge of Jain creed, means religious faith of Jainism. Then right conduct, Samyak Karma, practice of 5 vows of Jainism. Next is foundational theories of Jainism. It includes Shadvad, Nyavad, and Anekantavad. Shadvad. The Sanskrit word Sat means maybe or conditional. According to Jainism, all judgments are conditional. The ways of looking at a thing are infinite in number. According to Jainism, the ways of looking at a thing, it may be infinite in number. So, the theory of knowledge or every judgment is relative. So, the Shadvad mainly the theory of relativity. Sabda-naya. It is also Shadvad is also known as Sabda-naya or sevenfold prediction or sevenfold judgment. It means each statement is expressed from 7 different conditional and relative viewpoints or propositions. That's why it is known as theory of conditioned prediction. Right. These 7 propositions are described in English as follows. Shayad asti means in some ways it is. Shayad nasti. In some ways it is not. Shayad asti nasti. In some ways it is and it is not. Shayad asti avyaktab. Avyaktabha means in some ways it is and it is indescribable. Shayad nasti avyaktabha means in some ways it is not and it is indescribable. Shayad asti nasti avyaktabhya. In some ways it is not and it is indescribable. Shayad abhyaktava means in some ways it is indescribable, right? So these seven-fold judgment, or from these seven-fold viewpoint we can judge anything according to Jainism, right? Next theory is Nyayavad. The Sanskrit word Nyaya means viewpoint or standpoint. According to Jainism, Nyayavad is an analytical view of reality. Shayadvad was the relative view of reality. Here, Nyayavad is analytical view of reality. It expressed partial reality of object. They believes that there are seven Nyaya or viewpoints through which one can make complete judgments about absolute reality using Shayadvad. These seven Nyayas are Naigama-naya means universal view, Shamgraha-naya partial understanding, Vyavahara-naya pragmatic viewpoint, Raju-sutro-naya present condition, Sabda-naya on the basis of sound, Samabhirudha-naya etymological view, Evambhute-naya means truth as it is. And the most important thing is Nyayavas, mistaking the relative knowledge of a thing as a perfect knowledge commits an error. This is known as Nyayavas. Okay. The third foundational theory of Jainism is Anekantabad. Anekantabad is the doctrine of manyness of reality. Shayadvad was a relative view of reality. Nyayavad was analytical view of reality, and Anekantabad is manyness of reality. According to Jainism, objects have infinite modes of existence and qualities. So, they cannot be completely understood in all aspects by human perception. This theory is known as Anekantabad. Next is two sects of Jainism. There are two main sects in Jainism. These are Svetambara and Digambara. Both have faith in Jain principles, five vows, their creeds, but in some points they have differences. These are mainly meaning. Svetambara means white clad, whereas Digambara means sky clad, that is naked. Svetambara believes women are equally capable of achieving liberation as a man, whereas Digambara believes women cannot achieve liberation directly. They need to reborn as men. Svetambara wear white clothes as they believes that nudity is not necessary to achieve liberation, whereas Digambara completely naked as they believes one must renounce including clothes in order to achieve liberation. Svetambara idols of Tirthankaras are decorated by various jewels, whereas Digambara idols are naked and undercoated with downcast eyes. So these are some of the differences between Svetambara and Digambara. Next is aims of education according to Jainism. Jainism says that self-realization should be the goal of anyone. So education must focus on self-realization of learner. and it is also give emphasis on personality development of an individual. And teaching should provide necessary knowledge of liberation. Education should help students to move towards liberation. So the main aim of education should be how to move learners towards liberation, right? Methods of teaching. They mainly utilize all senses and meditation for teaching. Action-based teaching and action-based teaching method can be observed, as well as teaching should be social in nature. Curriculum. Jain curriculum is mainly activity oriented, and inculcation of non-violence among students is the focus of Jainism or Jain education system. Curriculum emphasized on social and moral value development of learners. Vocational education is another important part of Jain philosophy. Social science, moral education, natural science, vocational education, yoga, co-curricular activities, etc. are included in Jain curriculum. Discipline. In Jainism, learners respect their teacher like a god. Students just reproduce the ideal character from their teacher, and there is need to follow all the 5 promises of Jainism to attain good conduct. Non-attachment, forgiveness, self-restraint, etc. practices should be followed very strictly in Jain philosophy. And in terms of role of teacher is like God, and he makes the bridge who will help students to get liberation. Teacher must be like a role model. Next is educational implication. According to Hinduism or Veda, things can be exist permanently. Jainism rejects this thought process by saying that the view is partial, whereas according to Buddhism, nothing is permanent. Then Jainism said that if nothing is permanent, then no one theory can be established. So the thing is like that, Jainism contradicts the view of Hinduism that is permanent in one hand, and Buddhism momentariness on the other hand, and took the middle path and said everything is relative. It is the most important educational implication of Jainism, that everything is relative. According to Jainism, highest state of knowledge is intuition, through which a person can achieve a realization of oneness with the universe. Self-realization should be the aim of education. Non-violence towards every creature is most important concept of Jainism. So these are some of the important educational implications of Jainism. I have tried to present the entire concept of Jainism in very short manner. I think it will be helpful to you. In the next video, I will discuss the Anand Darshan. Keep watching Karma Education. Thank you.